Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about the one thing that is potentially preventing you from manifesting, from attracting what it is that you desire. And this is something that not a lot of people speak about at the moment. Guilt. Okay, guilt is something that subconsciously we all carry at a certain level, and getting rid of it could be essentially the block that you need to remove to attract what it is that you want to attract. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how in this video. I'm going to tell you why we have guilt, what kind of guilts there are, and what kind of guilts there are, what types of guilt there are, and how to get rid of it essentially. And I want to start with a really cool story. Okay, so the story is about two monks who were crossing a river. So once upon a time, there were two monks who were crossing a river, okay? And they come to the bank of the river and they notice that there is a woman there who is kind of, hurt, and she's struggling. She's unable to cross. And as soon as they reach there, the woman, the lady, she asks them, please, can you help me? I'm struggling to cross this. Can one of you carry me over? Now, this poses a dilemma for them because they have taken a vow to never touch a woman again. And that vow has been in place for many years. There's a senior monk and a junior monk essentially. So there's quite a few years of monkhood between them. And it would mean breaking the vow. But at the same time, they need to help this woman. So they don't know what to do. And in a flash, the senior monk carries a woman, walks across the river, puts her down, and just continues walking, okay? And the junior monk is shocked. He is dumbfounded. He can't believe what just happened. He's thinking, oh my God, what did you just do? That is, 15, 20 years of your vow that you've just broken like that to help one woman cross the river. And he just can't believe it. He has no idea how to actually take this information. So they keep walking, and he can't ask him either because he's the senior monk. So they keep walking, an hour passes, 2 hours pass, and finally he can't hold it in anymore. He just asks the senior monk, what did you do? How could you do that? Why did you break your vow of 15, 20 years? And the senior monk looks at him and says that I carried that woman and put her down on the other side of the river. Why are you still carrying her in your mind? And this is what we do as humans. We carry things in our minds that do not serve us in any way. We don't need them. And they actually create blocks between us and what we want, essentially. And one of the things that we carry is guilt. Okay, now guilt comes in many forms and many levels, okay? So, there is, on one extreme, you have the murderer who has killed people and he feels a lot of guilt because of that, okay? There's guilt of much lower levels. For example, with me, I had a lot of guilt because of, my use of drugs and alcohol, because I wasn't proud of it. Even at the time when I was doing it, it's not something I was proud of. So, I had a lot of guilt to do with that. And guilt could be of a much lower level as well. For example, when you're procrastinating and you're watching Netflix instead of doing your work, right? As simple as that is, because you are not, deep down you know that you're not living up to your full potential. You are essentially letting yourself down. There is guilt associated with that as well, okay? So guilt comes in, and by the way, I'm not saying not to watch Netflix. There's obviously a time for that if you want to, after you've done what you're supposed to do, essentially. It's just that simple, and you will know, we always know deep down what is right and what is wrong. So the point I'm trying to make is guilt comes in many forms, and subconsciously because we've done things in the past that we're not proud of, we carry this guilt, okay? And this essentially, what it does is it makes us feel undeserving. It can make you undeserving of attracting money, of attracting love, it can make you feel undeserving of good health, you know, if you've abused your body. So many areas of your life, important areas, can be affected simply because subconsciously you are feeling this guilt, okay? Because consciously, look, I mean, consciously, you're going to say that, oh yeah, I want the new job, you know, I want money, I want love, I want all these things. And that's great. But subconsciously, 90% of your driving force, the script in there is saying, no, but you don't deserve this because of how you behaved in the past. You don't deserve this because of what you did in the past, XYZ, XYZ. And this is where the problem is. So what is the solution? The solution is we have to get rid of the guilt. You know, we have to get rid of it. That's the only way to move forward, right? So how do we get rid of it? How do we get rid of the guilt? Now, I'm going to give you one way, okay? I'm not saying that it's the only way. I encourage you to find your own way, essentially, or take this example and make it your own. You know, make it work for you, right? But this is something I'm saying from experience. So one thing that has really worked for me is simply asking for forgiveness. Okay, now who are we asking for forgiveness? Because we find it very difficult as human beings to forgive ourselves. You know, we can forgive others, but oh, God forbid, you know, I forgive myself. So, and the reason for that is, you know, because we are the ones who have acted inauthentically or in a bad way, we find it difficult to forgive ourselves, right? We need somebody who is essentially a level higher than us to forgive us because they have the right to, you know, essentially. So who is this? I mean, easiest thing, God, right? You know, you've watched it in the movies. The murderer, the serial killer, you know, after murdering somebody, walks into the confession box and says, "Hey, Father, forgive me for I've sinned," and then he goes and murders somebody else, right? So asking God for forgiveness is you know, the really powerful, if not the best way, essentially. But again, just I want to keep this, you know, put this out there. This is not, again, about religion, okay? This is however you perceive divinity. So, you know, if you believe in a god or a goddess, great, ask them. If you believe in the universe, ask the universe. If you just believe in energy or high power, you know, ask that. However you perceive it, right? That's not important. The important thing is that you go to that entity or energy and you ask it for forgiveness. So, you know, for me, I perceive divinity as a goddess, as a mother, because that's how I like to, you know, have my relationship with divinity. And I will essentially, you know, in my meditation, you know, either in the start of my meditation or either at the end of my meditation, or actually the whole purpose of the meditation itself would be to ask for forgiveness, okay? And I'm not saying that, you know, this will happen in a day, but as you continue to meditate, you know, the more sessions that you do, it will, you know, you're going to be able to connect to that energy and you're going to be able to communicate with it, right? And you're going to be able to ask it for forgiveness and you're going to be able to really feel that it is forgiving you, okay? Because it makes you realize, you know, meditation, it gives you that awareness that you're just a human being, you know? And it is our imperfections that make us human. You know, if you never did anything wrong, if you always acted virtuously, you would not be human, you know? If you're from the Indian tradition, you know that, you know, long ago was a king who always, no matter how many hardships he faced, acted in a virtuous manner with complete peace and always did the right thing. And we called him Ram. We called him an actual incarnation of divinity because we know that humans cannot be like that, you know? We must aspire to be like that, of course, but we cannot be like that. And that's where we have to take a step back and say, okay, I made a mistake. Big deal. I'm sorry. You know, please forgive me. And, you know, you have to forgive me, essentially, because I'm not you know? You have to forgive me. And again, you know, remember, this is not going to happen in a day if you've not built that relationship, but it will happen sooner than you think. And once you feel that, once you essentially are able to forgive yourself and get rid of that guilt and say, okay, no problem, I acted like that before, no problem. Now, you know, the onus is on me to not act in that way, to try to essentially not make those mistakes again. And that's all that matters, how we act from this point on. And we try, our best every day to do the right thing, essentially. So when this happens, all of a sudden, you begin to feel deserving. You begin to feel that, okay, I made a mistake. I've now realized it. I've apologized for it. I've attained forgiveness for it, right? So I can move on now, and I can try and live my life in the right way. And that's fine. And now if I'm doing the right thing, then why wouldn't I get what I want to get? Because anything that you desire essentially is going to help you along the way, whether it's love or whether it's money. We're human beings. We require all of that to function at a very good level. So of course the universe, of course God is going to give that to you. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that made sense. If you want to speak more about this, then feel free to comment below, and we can speak more about it. But I think this is a good time to mention that if you're somebody who is at a stage in life that you want to make a change, you want to walk a new path, you want to raise your vibrations, you want to find your purpose, whatever it may be, this is something that I can help with personally by working on a one-to-one basis. Okay, so head over to meditatewithrishi.com, have a look at the life alignment coaching page, and if that resonates with you and you want to speak to me and you're serious about change and making changes, right, then reach out to me, book a free consultation and we can speak. And that is all for today. So thank you for listening, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.